know. Streaming is much more relaxing for me. Much more relaxing. Let's go. Holla ballers and a bro fist to you all for Monday's back upon us. And if you're in the sunny UK, it's so fucking hot, it's unbelievable. I've got the aircon on, man. I've got the aircon on. You might be able to hear it. I'm sorry, but it's too hot. It's too damn hot. This room has computers running in it. It's a small room. It's hot as balls. You're lucky I'm dressed. I'm serious. You are lucky I'm dressed. The whole day has been naked preach. Naked preach be editing your videos. Just think about that next time you watch one of my videos, is that perhaps I was doing it in ball soup. Just a suggestion that you think about it. Just a suggestion. As we are back to the normal routine of our dailies, coming fresh off a web show. Max apologies for all the nightmares we had with the web shows recently. Such a shame. So happy that well over 1,000 of you managed to stick. I think we had like 1,500 people who stuck through no chat for like 50% of the show. Chat just died. And it's really hard to conduct a web show when you can't see the responses of the audience, right? Some people love not having a live audience. If I'm streaming, I want a live audience. I do. I want people to be giving feedback. I don't like it. Disagreements, arguments. We welcome that shit. I welcome your opinion. I welcome all kinds of different opinions. And when we can't get them, sucks. But so many of you stuck it out anyway. We didn't even know if we were live. Very hard to do a web show if you're not entirely sure you were live, but we kind of stuck with it. Twitch is going through some growing pains, unfortunately. They did send us out an email apologising. Like, you know, we're really sorry. Because on Saturday, as you may or may not know, we just couldn't stream at all. Saturday wouldn't even allow us to connect to the website. And yesterday, we did okay until about halfway through, and then the chat died again. Sad face. On the topic of the web show, some news. Some of you will like, some of you will not like. Next web show, which is 2 weeks, 13 days. I think that's right, yeah. 13 days, 12 days, so a week on Saturday, whatever you want to call it. That will be the end of season of the transmog competition. Let's let that one sink in. That will be the last transmog competition we run until, more than likely, the end of the expansion. Until more than likely the end of the expansion. We won't be doing the transmog competition anymore. We're not discontinuing it completely. We're just going to say it's end of season. We'll start a season again when we feel the time is right. We'll definitely do one that was just like the best of Mr. Pandaria. There is a number of reasons for that. Chiefly and primarily, me and Ghost just do not enjoy doing it anymore. I know, it's kind of sad, but we both had quite a long conversation after we did the web show last night. Usually it's a case of Ghost has got to go home, he's got work the next day, he has to go straight away. But we did sit in a quite a long conversation because there was a definite... We can feel things you guys probably can't while we're doing a show because we know each other so well. I could tell he wasn't enjoying it and he could tell I wasn't enjoying it. And by the end of it, we sat down and said, there's a problem with the transmog competition, isn't there? He's like, yeah, I'm just not into it as much anymore. The problem is, one, it's far too long. It is far too long. We got 268 transmogs last show. We did 268 fucking transmogs, right? 268 fucking transmogs. A lot of them are repeats. A lot of them are repeats or variations on previous winners, which isn't that interesting because it's like, yeah, this guy won. But, you know, you're just doing kind of a little twist on it. And then we get the very few really astounding ones. And we thank you guys incredibly for those of you who put massive effort in and produce something we really just stands out. And the whole audience is like, that is so fucking cool. That is so cool. But that's becoming the more rarity as more and more people get involved in the transmog competition. Again, it was almost becoming like the transmog show. We never wanted to do the web show for that. That wasn't why that's not what we signed up for. We signed up to kick back and chat with you guys and talk about World of Warcraft. Some of you have pointed out we haven't talked about World of Warcraft on the web show for over a month. And it's because we haven't had time. It's as simple as that. We haven't had time to even discuss World of Warcraft on the web show at all. We just haven't been able to do it. You can check them. We haven't discussed it. And that's kind of shitty. I mean, we obviously World of Warcraft primarily channel. We just haven't had time. And fucking transmog's just taking up so much time, so much effort. On top of that, people are getting really pissy, taking it too seriously. We just don't. And in one way, that's kind of unfair. Some people take it really seriously. We don't. We don't take the transmog competition seriously. We don't. It's fun. It's just a bit of fun, right? It's fun to show off your cool characters. That's what it is. People taking it really seriously. It's no good you taking it seriously when we don't, and we're the judges, right? We're the judges. Ultimately, it's, yeah, we're just not having enough fun with it. So to sum that up, the next one is fine, okay? Keep submitting. The next one is going to be the last one. We'll do the transmog competition there. And of course, on the next web show, it is the themed transmog competition, which is anything you can make your character look like. We're more than happy to see. We're still going ahead with that. But ultimately, we're going to give it a break for a while and try and roll in more stuff into the web show. It's taking up so much time, and we have limited amount of time, is that we want to put more content in other than just the transmog competition. So, as long as, yeah, people are like, I'm okay with that. I think there's a definite... I spoke to Andy about the kind of audience side of it. A lot of people from the audience who just want transmogs. They like subscribe to my channel. They turn up just at the web show for the transmogs. We have all these people that come in, and I have no issue with that. You love that content, and that's fine. What we need to do is maybe we only have 1,000 people who really want to see everything, and then 400, 500, or 600, or however many you want to see just transmogs. It's going to piss those guys off, and we're really sorry. But going forward, we need to be promoting more versatile content, and being more creative with what we do. So we're kind of okay with that. We're kind of alright with that. My pre-stream title today was "Give all your money to Blizz." Emails going crazy. In-game store is coming. In-game store be coming. And a lot of you sending me emails like there's even been an article on the BBC. One of you sent me an article that the BBC had reported on World of Warcraft using in-game transactions and that kind of stuff. And this is like the end of the world. It's like the first step of going free to play, some of you said. Some of you were talking about this is kind of bad, this is horrible, and more specifically about the first item generally, which is going to be the 100% extra XP buff. What do we think? What are we talking about? How does this affect us as a game as a whole? Firstly, there's been a WoW store for ages, and I'm really surprised people either didn't know that or don't seem to make the connection between there has been a World of Warcraft store for a really, really long time. It's just not been in game. The store. Where do you think a lot of these pets come from and mounts? Like the World of Warcraft store. Have you ever had a realm transfer or a faction change or bought a mount or bought a pet or done anything like that? That's been in the game for a really, really long time. Okay, that stuff's existed. There's been a lot of people throwing money at WoW outside of the game. It's just coming to the game. So I was a little bit surprised at how many people were like, this is horrible, it's going to be in-game. Like, well, I'm pretty sure it would have originally been in-game. I'm pretty sure it would have always been in-game if they could have worked the technology in quick enough, right? It would have always been there. As long as it's not pay-to-win, no. Pay-to-win, definitely not. That would be, well, we'd all say goodbye, wouldn't we? If you could buy items, buy black market auction house items, for instance, that would be, we'd just leave. That wouldn't be the game I want to play. I'd be out of here. I don't care about gear, but that's not the game I want to play. I'm sure that is not on the agenda. All we're doing seems to be transferring the game, the store from Battle.net to the game. I don't see a problem with that. I genuinely do not see a problem with the in-game store. I can't think of anything that bothers me about it. The fact that there is an in-game store to acquire various things, I do not see as a problem. Initially, anyway. This thing has always existed as far as I'm concerned. It's existed for so long. It's just you've had to go to a website. I genuinely do not see it as a fucking problem. I don't see why that is an issue. I don't see people getting upset about that particular aspect. No, I'm not getting it. However, having said that, the 100% extra XP item. This I kind of do have a problem with. There's pros and cons alongside with this. I don't think a lot of people are going to go, awesome! A lot of people are going to go, horrible, right? And there is equal sides to why this is good and why this is bad. Let's take, first of all, WoW has too many levels. It does, right? WoW has too many levels. 90 levels is very intimidating to a new player. You might not think so, but if you've grown with it, but 90 levels is a lot more than most games that come out now. Some games are like, oh, we have 100 levels, we have 80 levels or whatever, but they're designed around that. WoW, 90 levels is kind of a lot. It really is, especially when you consider how big those levels are. Some of us with experience will easily say the first 1 to 85 are nothing. They're nothing. We can blitz through 1 to 85 in no problem at all. The real leveling starts at 85 to 90. A lot of people will make that argument. As a new player, it's still intimidating to see 90 levels ahead of you, especially when they start to slow down. When they start to slow down in your 30s and 40s, and you start edging a little bit longer to get your level, then you think you've got another 50 to go. It can indeed be a little bit off-putting. It can be very off-putting. So it makes sense to reduce that down. We need to reduce the levels because we expect new levels every expansion. There's an argument that says maybe we don't need new levels every expansion. Maybe we shouldn't expect new levels. The problem with that is you're then working in an environment where the gear from a previous expansion is still kind of relevant. And that creates problems, right? That creates problems. If we stayed at level 90 in the next expansion, that creates all kinds of problems. We need something to move us away from all the stuff we agreed at level 90. Right? We need to move away from that. Otherwise, people, what are you expecting new level 90s to do? You're expecting new level 90s throughout the whole of the next expansion, perhaps another 12 or 16 months. Are you expecting those guys to go and do Mogashan Vaults? Are you expecting them to do that? Go and do Heart of Fear, Throne of Thunder, whatever? Are you expecting them to do that? No, of course not. That would be crazy, right? So then, let's say they only increase the levels by 5 again, which they've been doing. They originally increased by 10. Remember that. 60 to 70, okay? They increased it by 10. Now we're down to 5 because the obvious problem is the number grows and it's really off-putting. It's really, really off-putting. So we can't not have new levels, and we're getting to the stage where we're approaching like 100 levels. We're getting pretty close to the idea of 100 levels, and that's really off-putting to a lot of people. So the idea of increasing the leveling speed through money is kind of okay. It's also kind of a staple of most games now that involves some sort of leveling. Is to have something that boosts you. Usually it is in the free-to-play model, but obviously I can't see WoW going free-to-play for quite a while, but we will wait and see on that one. Never say never. Never say never. The other side of this that does bother me, though, do we need to level faster? As a new player, leveling really fast can be very, very detrimental to your end game experience. It can actually ruin the game for you. I encourage people immensely, new players especially, don't power level. Because what's waiting for you at 90 isn't everything. There's a lot to go on before you reach the level cap. There's so much going on, so don't rush it. People are notoriously not very good when they use sort of a ton of heirloom items, that awesome potion of extra XP that they lose in Die Mall after 5 minutes. Poor guy. And then reach level 90 and level cap and they're just like, okay, what do I do with this character now? If we start doing double the XP and racing it up, maybe we're going to run into more problems with that. But that's kind of a theory. It's kind of a hearsay. Did we run into that with monks particularly? Not from what I can see. Not from what I can see. We didn't really have that problem with monks. So it's kind of hard to say that is definitely going to be a problem. But it's a possible problem. It's a possible problem that people just be like, okay, I just raced all the way to level 90 and now I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And in fact, I didn't hardly use any of my spells as much as normal because I had this extra XP buff that I paid for. On the other side of this, though, people hate fucking leveling. People hate leveling. Let's check the chat. How many people just cannot stand leveling? Vanish, definitely. Cannot stand fucking leveling. Cannot stand leveling. How many people actually hate leveling? Me. I love leveling. That's okay. I say me. I fucking love it. Vanish loves it. It's okay. Just know there's me. I like it. It's a variation. But what you can see is there is that variation. I'm not looking for one answer or another. What I'm saying to you is some people fucking hate leveling. They hate it. They cannot stand it. It's a necessary evil of MMOs for sure, but we're talking about, again, nearly 100 levels. We're talking about 90 levels of experience that I've got to get through. An experienced player, just the daunting task of having to re-roll is really off-putting. How many people contact me? Should I roll this? I can't be bothered leveling. I just can't be asked. So many of you contact me with it. I just cannot be asked. I want to try out this class. I cannot be asked leveling again. I don't want to do it again. I know if I was in that position and I didn't already have every capped character, that I would be terrified of leveling again. I was really, really not looking forward to leveling my monk. In fact, out of interest, leveling my monk, I went against everything I believe and just dungeon grinded it. Because I was not enjoying it. I didn't want to go and do the zones again. I've done them so many times. I don't want to do them again. And I would have probably paid for the XP buff. As weird as that sounds, if I was to level a monk today, assuming it works with it, I don't know. If it did work with it, I would probably pay for that double XP buff. I would. I just did not look forward to leveling my monk. And in fact, if I probably didn't do my YouTube stuff and my guides and all that kind of information I'm putting out there, I might not have even bothered leveling a monk past the starter zone. When the goblins and stuff came out and the worgans, I did them until they reached like the barons. And after that, I left them alone. I don't care about seeing the barons again. I don't care about seeing Ashara again. I don't care about seeing 1,000 Needles again. I've done it. I've ridden my boat. I don't want to do that again. I was interested in the new stuff. That's all I cared about. The daunting task of leveling is really off-putting. And therefore, is it a problem that people want to bypass that if they've already done it? No! Of course not. Some people hate leveling. We can't just say, oh, well, leveling is good for you. It's not. It's not. Leveling is just the by proxy nature of the game sort of beast. That's all it is, man. And some people can't fucking stand it. Should they be deprived of playing characters? If they... No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's fine for those people. But on the other hand, what about new players? How often is this thing going to be open to people? It's a real sort of mixed bag. And what else can we expect to find in here? I would be really worried about certain other things that could be potentially added to this store. Some potential problems. Reputation gain items, I would be really worried about. Anything that boosts rep gain, because they're kind of classically something that appears inside a store that has some sort of grind. A store in an MMO generally tries to allow people to skip some of the grind. Right? Take it easy, Freedom Cannon. Take it easy. Do you agree? And most of these things that we see inside of MMO stores are things that try and reduce the grind element. They try and drop the grind element. There's a problem with that. There's a problem with that. Is a lot of the grinding in an MMO actually does lead to items. It leads to power in one form or another. Okay? It leads to some sort of additional bonuses. And that becomes a problem. Leveling fast isn't a problem for anybody. Nobody cares if we have a ton of new level 90s. It's not going to make the situation better or worse. Perhaps we'll see a few more tanks. Maybe. That might be something out there, right? That might be something out there. But if we are looking at things like reputation gains, purchasing coins for rolling is another danger. Increasing things like bag space or bank space. We have to be very careful. We have to be worried about these kind of things because I will find that off-putting. From a personal point of view, if I can't have, say, an increased bag, because my bags are always full, but somebody who buys from the store can, I find that kind of irritating, man. I find that kind of really, really off-putting. It pisses me off. More room for transmog items. That augurs. Always thinking ahead, man. Always thinking ahead. These things will happen. Perhaps it's how far do we go with the store? Is it going to be limited to things like XP buffs? Absolutely not. Of course not. We're going to definitely have a variety of items to sell in the store because they want people to buy things, right? Of course they do. They're a fucking business. They want people to buy things. I'm very wary of how quickly this could transition into the idea of simply just adding things that boost you quicker to higher levels of gear. Because then you have a real problem. Then you have people who are not only leveling super fast and ergo not learning much with their class, although I'll be the first to admit one doesn't learn a lot while leveling. Always bear that in mind. I'll be the first to say players do not learn a lot by leveling, but they do learn something. So never forget that. They do learn something. And if we go faster and faster, I'm kind of okay with that, with more people hit level 90. But what if they then hit level 90? They buy a shit ton of coins, and before you know what's going on, people who haven't had to do nearly enough anything are applying to your guilds. That would be really detrimental, wouldn't it? That would be a big problem if there's suddenly a surge of people who have maybe even sucked to LFR. There's a situation that could develop, which is kind of a worst case scenario. I'm not one for really spouting worst case scenarios. I think it's a dangerous road to travel down because people take it as like gospel. People take it as like, oh, this is what he said kind of thing. But there's a definite scenario that develops where people who are regularly sort of kicked or removed from groups, probably for some reason along the lines of they're just not very good, they no willingness to learn, they can't figure out that they're doing wrong, which I've kind of proven in the past is a possibility, right? We did the apathy test. And now we're going to be able to acquire basic sets. Would it be unreasonable? Would it be unreasonable in your opinion? Let's take a little quick vote here. Would it be unreasonable for you to be able to buy with real life money the LFR tier set? We could judge that on the basis that it is essentially RNG whether you acquire it or not. So would it be unfounded that you could in fact buy that? Let's see. No, yes, fuck you if they do this. Look at Tomboy taking names. Absolutely would be. Fucking no. Totally stupid. No, no, yes, yes. Don't care. Good man, Zonkers. Stupid. Fuck that shit. Yes, definitely no. A mixed bag of answers again. A mixed bag of answers. And this will be the variety of people who are asking this question. As always, there is no way to please everybody in World of Warcraft. Duh, of course not. There's so many people playing, you can't possibly appease everybody. There are some people, maybe even myself included, who wouldn't particularly care about that. Because I consider any item you get from LFR as RNG with a really high R. Right? The randomness is pretty high. Therefore, you can get it anyway. Some people will pick it up in 1 week, as my rogue proved. My Rouge acquired his entire tier set in a singular week. Pissed many of you off, right? It was completely out of my hands. Nothing I could do about that, but I got it. I haven't done that on any of my other characters. They don't have full tier sets, but I got it. And then you've got players who perhaps have been farming it for months and not got it. There's another question. How many of you have been farming some tier set for ages and not been able to get it? Although you're doing the content where it appears. You are doing this content and it appears. It's there. And it's just not fucking dropping on 2 tunes. This guy, loads of people. And there are a lot of people who are like, I just don't care, or are you put off by the idea of being able to acquire it with real life money because it's unfair. You've put in a ton of time and it hasn't dropped. So therefore it's unfair that people with more money should be allowed to just acquire it instantly. It just appears in your mailbox. You've got it. Could we say these people are becoming overpowered? Absolutely not. Having a full tier set of LFR gear does not make you overpowered. Hell, a child can lift a claymore, maybe, but he's still not going to be able to use it properly. The problem is these people are going to filter out through your guild. Again, this is a worst case scenario. I'm not spouting this is what's going to happen. We certainly don't have the option to buy LFR gear through our in-game store yet. But I don't think that is actually an unreasonable possibility. I think that's actually really reasonable. As something that could happen is you can either buy more coins or perhaps some new type of coins like platinum coins, which give you what, 100% chance for a boss to drop an item, 70% chance. That doesn't seem unreasonable to me either. All the in-game stores that I know from any MMO are some way of dropping out the grind process, because everyone knows that is the most unpopular section of it. What's the most unpopular bit? People do not like grinding. They hate it. They hate it. So the possibilities, I assume, for instance, if we had such things as buying coins, that they would have to be 100%. I can't imagine that if we had to, if someone said 75%, and I kind of said that, I don't think you could do that if people have paid real life money. You're almost gambling then, which is, as far as I'm aware, some countries do not allow that. Alright? Some people can't do that. Some countries will not be allowed to play World of Warcraft with such a possibility. Perhaps the in-game store would just be off limits to them. But if you had paid real life money, and you got these coins, these magical platinum coins of Mogu Ancestry or whatever, and you rolled them and you didn't get anything, and you'd spent 10 euros on this shit, or $20 or whatever, and you didn't get anything, what the fuck, man? You'd be totally pissed, wouldn't you? You'd be absolutely pissed. So fucking pissed. Method players being forced to buy 40 coins in order to join for Siege of Orgrimmar. Ooh. Interesting effects on the top end race. I still think Blizz doesn't care much about the top end race other than using it for publicity. And despite what options Blizz puts into the game, I'm sure the top end guilds would use it anyway. Yeah, where's my loot? I paid for it. People will literally translate this into, I paid for this loot. I paid for it. I bought your coins with real life money in order to acquire these items. I don't think they're like... These are all sort of further down the line, maybe next expansion kind of stuff. I don't know. All guesswork. But I'm trying to think of whatever is a grind. Reputation stuff, that pisses me off. If reputation is tied to dailies, and I can buy 100% buff to reputation, what's to say they don't scale back reputation? Half it. You can buy the 100% reputation, but we've halved what the in-game reputation is compared to normal, or we've adjusted it accordingly, or something along those lines. We just don't know where it could lead. As such, the 100% XP buff, I'm kind of okay with it. I'm okay with it. It definitely could have a drawback, but it's a theory, it's a could. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Who knows, right? Shoulda, woulda, coulda. We'll see what happens with it. Overall, don't particularly care. Really don't. I don't care about people leveling quicker. People don't learn a lot from leveling anyway. It could lead to some detriment I don't know. We'll see on that. I think we should touch on the legendary cloaks. Please leave your comments. Leave your comments and we'll talk about this on Thursday. We'll bring the subject back out on Thursday. Always love to see what your opinions are on these matters. I think we do need to discuss the legendary cloaks. Just for fun, who won? Right? Somebody won. Somebody won, right? Who do you think won? I know you've all seen them because you're all transmog heroes. I really, again, the cloaks are shy. Oh, somebody won. The healer one. The Tyrael one's the winner. The Tyrael one? The Tyrael one's the winner. Not going to be transmoggable, but I really like what they've done with these cloaks. I think it's really clever. I think they are a good idea. Because we were kind of pissed off. I'm so far off the screen, it's retarded. I was kind of pissed off about this whole thing. The legendary cloaks just aren't enticing in any way. There's no doubt about that. They're not enticing. Let me make these nice and big for you so you can kind of get an idea. If you haven't seen them yet, I'll put them down here for you guys. Those are the cloaks and those are the special effects that you're going to get off them. That's what you're going to get. They're really nice. I've got to say, I actually genuinely think they are really, really nice. I think they're a good idea. A lot of people loved the idea of having wings as a paladin. Well, you can get wings now on your character. I particularly love this one, the Tyrael one. I think that is glorious. The overall legendary thing has gone kind of downhill. There are some tweets and stuff relating to the idea of the legendary cloaks, why we're not getting legendary weapons. Kind of a touchy subject on the idea that legendary weapons are boring. It's predictable and boring, legendary weapons. No, it's not. It's really not. There is nothing boring about legendary weapons. I've not acquired a full set of legendary weapons. I was close to a Thunder Fury, didn't get it. I obviously wasn't in line for an Atiesh. I wasn't in line for a Sulfurus, so I didn't get that. I was a tank during the Warglaive era. I wasn't a rogue during Fangs. I wasn't a healer during Val'anyr. And therefore, I never really got to use a legendary in combat, which is one of the things I always regretted. I was hoping to get a Thunder Fury while I was a tank. That would have been excellent. Legendaries are boring if they're predictable. No, I don't think anybody has ever said that. It was one of those things where you could make the meme. It's like, oh, legendaries are boring and predictable if they're always weapons. Said nobody ever. I was absolutely overwhelmingly happy when I saw good friends of mine acquire their legendary weapons. It was almost as if I had got it. Some of you might not feel that way if you're definitely more tended towards having legendary items. Sort of, I don't want to call people loot whores, but people definitely feel like if I don't have it, I kind of don't care. But to see some of my friends, when Elfie got Val'anyr, I was so happy for that guy. I was genuinely really happy. When our Rogue got his Warglaives, when I saw somebody get a Thunder Fury, even Genji to this day, when Genji got his in Cataclysm, I was really, really happy for him. I was genuinely happy for him. Of course, these weapons do not cater to everybody. They don't cater to everybody, and that's kind of a sad fact. But it's kind of what makes them special. There was always something special about seeing someone with Dragon Wrath turn into a dragon, and it's like, that's so cool, man. Yeah, I kind of wish I had a Dragon Wrath. But I'm okay, because my friend has it, and I know he loves it, and he deserves it. And a lot of you won't have maybe had that experience, especially if you're in guilds that you're not really made that kind of a close, friendly relationship. And a good guy. In most guilds that I know of, it was a really good guy who picked up the legendary first, somebody who deserved it, somebody who was entitled to it almost. There was no question in most of my guilds who was getting the legendary item. When Val'anyr was announced, it was, even though Blubzor, some of you may know, was the healing officer, nobody had in their mind that Elfie wasn't going to pick it up. And when he got it, I was over the moon for that guy. I was absolutely over the moon for that. Just the GM. Just the GM. Legendary makes you OP. Cool, that's what it's supposed to do. Yeah, PvP kind of takes the burden of that. I miss being able to use my daggers. Even the Fangs of the Fathers, which I thought was probably one of the most boring ways of attaining legendaries, the Fangs of the Fathers. They were so cool. They were just cool. And that's alright. I never heard anybody describe the legendaries as boring. I saw lots of frustration from people who desperately wanted them. And the idea of everybody getting them is always a letdown with legendary items. Because I think a lot of people have in the back of their mind the fear that they will go the way of epics. That's got to be what we're relating it to. I can't speak today. That's what we've got to be relating it to. Is the idea that we don't want legendaries to go the way of perps. We don't want to see that again. We don't want everybody decked out in fucking oranges. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that. We hope they don't become more commonplace. That's not what we want to see. Everybody gets a legendary cloak if they do some LFRs and stuff. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody cares. How often are we going to see people between now and the end of Mr. Pandaria running around in these cloaks? A lot. Orgrimmar going to be filled with them? Does that feel legendary, or does it look like a disco? You right? We don't want to see that. I want to announce the winner of the transmog competition. Obviously, as we had no chat, I want to double check my numbers before I announce this, actually. I just want to make sure I get it right. As we had no chat, we couldn't allow you guys to vote. There was just no way to do it on who was the winner of the transmog competition. I'm pretty sure it is Shaman Fluka. And by the way, yeah, we did pronounce it wrong. God, hundreds of you have voted. My God. My God. God, so many of you voted. Excuse me, I'm getting a fax. It's farm time. Look at this. To bear pie, it's farm time. Yes, Emma's back is destroyed, unfortunately. She can no longer work, which is sad. Puts a lovely burden on me. And I also have to now, until the rest of time, pick up horse shit until we have a baby, which is great news. I just want to double check this. Fluka, Matzo, Aurora. There's a good combination of people, actually. Shaman Fluka. I like the people that kept saying I was pronouncing it wrong. I've just typed it. Shamafluka, 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 Cody, Crondell, DP, Shamafluka. Yeah, it's Shamafluka. Pretty sure I'm Shamafluka. Surely somebody will post a load of comments now and beat that. Congratulations to you, Shamafluka. Please contact me and I will get back in touch with you as soon as the prizes are distributed. I always have to send them out and wait for people to reply just to make sure I don't give away a prize that you want and I can't do it. Alright. It's farm time. I'm off to pick up poo. Feel for me. I kind of got a suspicion I'm streaming tonight, but don't tell anybody, alright? Don't tell anybody, but I think I'm going to be streaming this evening. So I might be back in a couple of hours. Let's see how it goes. It's so hot, I can't really do anything. If I say a time, if I'm going to, okay, that's a good idea actually. If I'm going to be streaming this evening, hopefully it's Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, it will be in an hour and a half, which is 1900 hours. It will be in an hour and a half. That's enough time for me to pick up poo and get back home. All right, so hopefully, if I'm not here within 10 minutes of that time, I'm not streaming. Okay. Simple as that. If I can, I will. I kind of want to sit down in the cold air conditioning room and play some Final Fantasy. So I'll see you this evening, maybe. Take it easy, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. Love to see your comments regarding this store. Let's get a conversation going, guys. I always want your opinions. Good or bad, I don't mind.